All right, so for this week, we all read Bone Gap. We all watched Moonrise Kingdom, and the second book that I was reading is called The Haunting of Sunshine Girl, and it's by Paige McKenzie. This book was made after Paige's YouTube channel by the same name. When Paige was about 15, she started. Her mother is an actress. She and her mother's name is Mackenzie Rose, not a A-list actress, but an actress nonetheless. And her and her mother started a production company, and Paige started making these YouTube videos about this girl that lives in a haunted house and how she's making the videos to prove to her mom that the house that they are living in is haunted. So this is interesting in the instance that the movies or the videos preceded the book, where in most cases usually it's a book that's made into a movie. So I haven't had the opportunity to watch very many of the videos just because I haven't had time, but they do look pretty cool considering her age and the fact that, you know, she's an amateur to some extent of her filmmaking and things like that. The videos have not millions, like hundreds of thousands of views, so I mean, it's not something to the point of where it's become like a cult thing, but it is extremely popular. I have asked some of the young adults that I see if they had heard of it, and they said no. And I did recommend it to some kids who had expressed that they had an interest in Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, because it kind of has that it has a similar kind of feel to it. So I really liked that book. It kind of follows, you know, the stereotypical, in a way, horror formula of, you know, it's a single mom and her daughter, and they move to a new place, and they're staying in this rickety old house, and you know, the daughter is hearing things and seeing things and feeling things, and the mom, you know, has an explanation, a logical explanation for all of it. So she starts trying to capture these things on film and on video to try to prove to her mom that there is truly something supernatural happening in their house. So it's entertaining from that aspect. I think what students could take away from it is the fact that the girl who created this whole series was 15 when she started uploading her videos to YouTube. The date of her birth I found online was that she was born in 95, so she's 21 now. So I mean, she's not she's a young person. So that she, you know, had this interest and worked for it, and enlisted the help of others, of experts. She didn't try to do it all by herself. Her mom does star in some of the YouTube videos. And the fact that she's had a very popular and successful YouTube series and book. R.L. Stine and Wes Craven actually made comments about her, the content, and the fact that they were, you know, on the edge of their seat throughout her story. So I think that is a really cool just kind of message to send to young people, that, you know, books don't always have to be written by, you know, older people or people with a lot of experience. This is probably something she might have just started for fun, and look at where it got her. So that is something great. I mean, obviously it's incorporating the use of technology. Today's students are inundated with technology all the time. YouTube is a huge thing that, you know, we all watch viral videos. We are using YouTube right now to upload our videos. So the fact that this girl got her start on YouTube is a pretty cool message to send, that it can be a legitimate means of promoting yourself and creating art in a form. Bone Gap, the book, I really liked. To me, it kind of bridged the gap between total fantasy and a realistic fiction book. So much of the book was, you know, this typical kind of girl that's gone missing, and these brothers are trying to find her, and then you have this little thread of kind of the supernatural woven throughout. It's not, you know, monsters and fairies and dragons and that kind of stuff. The way that it was done, I felt personally it appealed to me. I'm not someone who loves complete fantasy, typically, but this really kept my attention. The parts where he was going into the gap were kind of the parts where I was feeling a little bit lost as a reader. I just wasn't really sure, you know, what was going on. He was running for the cornfield, he was finding Rosa, and then you kind of got back to your typical, you know, fictional, realistic fiction storyline when they get back. So that, I think, would be a good kind of middle of the road book. It would appeal to a wider variety of students, getting them to talk about, there's so many things present in that book. The fact that there's the two boys whose mom, you know, basically left them, the parent, their father who passed away, the boy who everybody thinks is weird, and then it becomes possible that he actually has a condition that causes him to be odd. The small town aspect, the gossip aspect, all of those things are things that students can relate to. And then obviously the love story. So there's so many, the relationship between Rosa and the men that she encounters, how they treat her, the respective women. There's so many things to discuss and dissect within this book. And then also you have kind of that twist of the unknown, this eerie professor, where they're going, where he's taking her, all of these things. And I'd be really interested to see and hear how students interpret that, whether they take it as literal, whether they feel like it's symbolic for something else. And I think it's an easy or accessible enough in the actual text that it could be something that a lot of kids should really get into. Moonrise Kingdom, honestly, this is not my genre of movie. Don't really care for it, but it is a way of kind of sending a message by using humor and kind of whimsy instead of just being serious and fact-based. It's good for kids to see and students to see that you can make a point and raise an issue without doing it directly, by painting this picture of, you know, this is how the world is, and kind of turning it on its head a little bit, but it's still making you think and making you go, So, I mean, that is another cool thing that the movie did. So, all in all, I think the two books and the movie were good. I think they serve a good purpose, and I think they have a good place in the classroom.